Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video going to be a preview of tomorrow's Matchday 1 League season opener against Kilmarnock live on television tomorrow afternoon, Sunday, with the flag being unfurled for last season's Scottish Premiership title win by the Lisbon Lions legend Jim Craig, one of the few remaining living Lisbon Lions. Before we crack on with the actual video, please do consider, if you haven't already, clicking that subscriber button. Numbers pushing towards 100. Would be lovely to get to 800 and pass that by the end of August. Do consider clicking the like button if you like the video. And as always, do feel free to pop your comments regarding Celtic, Sunday's game, etc. into the comment section, and we can have a nice, pleasant chat, discussion, debate amongst like-minded Celtic fans. So, Celtic open the season against Kilmarnock on Sunday. Kilmarnock coming fresh from a loss against Bruges in Europa League qualifiers. Celtic are coming from a very successful pre-season, wins against strong teams such as Man City and Chelsea, and DC United on a very successful American tour. Also some good game time against Queen's Park, Ayr, and a closed doors friendly against Burnley. So Celtic's team looking very, very good in training. Brendan Rodgers updated everybody yesterday at a press conference. Basically, Daizen Maeda is struggling with a knee bruise. Mike Nawrocki remains out, and Kuhn should be back to play on Sunday if he is selected. And so, apart from Maeda and Nawrocki, we have a full squad, and Maeda may be available, possibly to start, possibly on the bench, or maybe rested completely and not risk any further injury. So, just looking at the recent stats of games against Kilmarnock, we of course had a thumping 5-0 win the last time we played them. And later on in the video, we'll pop in the goal highlights of those 5 goals that won us the title that evening at Kilmarnock, just as a wee cheer up as we go into the season. In the last 10 games against Kilmarnock, we have 7 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Over those 10 games, 27 goals for, 6 against, with 5 clean sheets in those 10 games. So we did have a couple of rather disappointing losses last season to Kilmarnock on their plastic pitch, 2-1 loss on a miserable day, with Phillips and Scales being especially atrocious that day in defence, and a 1-0 loss in the Viaplay League Cup at the start of the season also, which caused us to miss the treble. On match day 1, so first game of the season, Celtic against Kilmarnock. Celtic haven't lost a match day 1 game against Kilmarnock since 1961, with 8 wins and 2 draws over that time. And looking at the last 83 home games between Celtic and Kilmarnock, Celtic have an amazing record of 64 wins, 18 draws, 1 loss in those last 83 games, and it's 12 years since Kilmarnock beat Celtic at Celtic Park. And looking at all our home season openers over the last 34 occasions, Celtic have 30 wins, 4 draws in matchday 1s, where matchday 1 has been at Celtic Park. So all the omens are very, very good for the game against Kilmarnock on Sunday, and I'm very, very hopeful that we're going to win quite comfortably, and my prediction is going to be 3-0 to Celtic, with first clean sheet for Kasper Schmeichel, and a couple of goals for Kyogo and 1 for Matt O'Reilly. Predicted lineup, going to be, of course, Kasper Schmeichel in goal, playing Ralston at right back, just because Alistair Johnson was late back into pre-season training. He missed the whole of the pre-season friendlies and American tour, and so is likely to need another week or two of pre-season training before he gets back into matchday full fitness. Beside him, Cameron Carter-Vickers. Rodgers was saying in his press conference yesterday, Carter-Vickers completely matchday fit, even though he had a relatively brief pre-season training spell. Beside him, Liam Scales. At this point, there's no real other option. I personally would much happier Gustav Lagerbielke was being played beside Carter-Vickers, because I think the two of them would form a very good partnership, with Lagerbielke's extra height and Carter-Vickers' excellent organisation, pace, and ability to cover in behind. I think the two of them would make a very good partnership, but Rodgers very much sees Gustav Lagerbielke as the central defender, along with Kobayashi, that he wants out the club. Left back, Greg Taylor. Again, at this point, we have no other senior options at left back. Barnaby is away in South America on loan. We do have a couple of very promising young left backs in the Academy Stroke B team, with Mitchell Frame and Matthew Anderson. And there is renewed speculation that Celtic are looking to bring in Owen Beck, which I'll come back to later in the video. Central midfield, Callum McGregor in the number 6 role, Rio Hatate in the number 8 role, and Matt O'Reilly in the number 10 role. 3 of them form an excellent partnership. I think on the bench we'll have players such as Paulo Bernardo, Odin Thiago Holm, and Kwon. I think Holm and Kwon had excellent pre-seasons. I think they both showed a lot of impressive skills, a lot of good ability, and I think those 3 could be a very powerful combination coming off the bench, along with Tomoki Iwata. So I think as things stand at the moment, we have a lot of good backup and good quality on the bench for the midfield roles. Out wide on the right, Nicholas Kuhn. He had an excellent pre-season, scored some goals, created some goals, showed he actually does have a lot of pace, and I think he looks like the player that Brendan Rodgers thought he had when we signed him in the winter window. On the left wing, because Dyson Maida is struggling with his knee bruise, we're going to start Luis Palma. Again, Luis Palma, excellent pre-season. Looked like he was back to the good form he had at the start of last season. And leading the line at main striker, Kyogo. Again, he had an excellent pre-season and scored a ton of goals in the pre-season games. Looked like he has a lot of pace. Looked like he developed better understanding with the wide players. Celtic will be relatively weak on the bench for attacking players. We will have Mikey Johnston, Forrest, Yang, and all three of those players can also cover as replacement strikers for Kyogo should it be needed, and also late in the season, Dyson Maida can cover through the middle, as can Luis Palma and Nicholas Kuhn. Both Kuhn and Palma and Yang actually had pretty good records as a striker in the earlier parts of their career. However, I fully expect Celtic over the course of the next 4 weeks, once teams get through the pre-season and decide who's staying and who's going, who needs replaced, etc. I think a couple of new strikers, new centre back and new left back, all of those players will become available and be signed over the course of the next few weeks. Celtic are said to be in negotiations again with Liverpool regarding Owen Beck. It would also appear that Queen's Park Rangers and Birmingham are keen to take Owen Beck, but that would be on loan, whilst Liverpool are said to want a permanent transfer, and that also appears to be Celtic's preferred option is to buy Owen Beck outright and get him signed up on a long-term contract and bring him through to be the Greg Taylor replacement. I thought Beck was very impressive for Dundee last season, particularly in the first half of the season, and I think he brings a better quality of defence, more height, more ability in the air, in the left back role, whilst also being a big threat, driving through the midfield with the ball at his feet, good at passing, good at crossing, good in the final third in creating chances, good also delivering dead ball kicks, free kicks, corners, etc. And so I think Beck would be an excellent purchase for Celtic. Uncertainty over what would be the transfer valuation. A couple of the transfer sites have him down at 1.25 million, which I think is rather a ridiculously low price. I would be expecting Liverpool will be looking for something probably in the regions of 4, 5, 6 million. And I think for potential very good left back, already with international experience, I think Celtic should do their best to bring in Beck, assuming that he wants to come and play for Celtic, rather than playing in the English Championship or being a backup to the backup at Liverpool. No other updates. So that finishes things off for this pre-match preview for the Kilmarnock game, predicting 3-0 to Celtic with goals for Kyogo, and Matt O'Reilly, and a clean sheet for Kasper Schmeichel and his defence. As things stand, not planning to do a video on Sunday morning, but we'll do, if time permits, a post-match review after the game on Sunday, when hopefully Celtic start their pursuit of 4 in a row and the treble, as Brendan Rodgers was saying was the target for the 24-25 season. And so for today, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, goodbye, and hail, hail.